Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Kiddushin Daf Amud Aleph 11a1. Says the Gemara, we are going to bring the reason, right? Ravina is going to bring the reason why Nechlak Yochanan ben Bagbag. It says like this: Ben Bagbag, Simpon ba'avadim letle. According to Shitat ben Bagbag, that he argued on the Kal V'chomer Ravina Mitra, he holds that there's no such thing as Simpon by avadim. Why? Let's see. Imu min shabagalui. If it's a blemish which is revealed, hakachazil, he sees it. Well, the guy's blind. Hey, you see a hunchback. You buy him as an eved. You can't say afterwards you accepted it. If you're going to tell me that he has a blemish in the private part of his body, what does he care? He got this eved or whatever it was from melacha. What does he care? Right? What does it care? So says the Gemara, right? Nimtza ganav o kuyustus, right? Igio. If right now he was found to be a thief or a person that he steals people, right? He's like a bandit that he comes and he takes, right? He takes people. Higio. Magia. Why? He can't retract. Maya Marta, right? So therefore, what type of gam can you come and say that it's going to be? Listim mezuyan or nichtav al-malchut. He says the only ones which are left is going to be a listim mezuyan, which is basically a guy that's mamash like a, a mafionaire type of style that he'll come and he'll, kill them. Or nichtav al-malchut, that he did something against the king, that they're going to kill him. Hanau kala yitlu. And these people have called, which means you cannot ask me from simpon. You know why you can't ask me from simpon? Because it doesn't exist simpon by avadim. Right? Because by the avadim, that's not for that. You understand? You didn't take it. So one more time, whether it's because, first of all, if it's bagalui, you already accepted it, meaning if it was a blemish and you saw it, you accepted it. If it's going to be hidden, so therefore would you care? It's a hidden part of his body. And if it's going to be, right, other things, magio, it's still fine. Right? It's only if things are, and the mamash, the terrible cases, there's a call. So if there's a call, you should know. Fine. So according to that, it comes out that since there's a call, there's no problem. So because of that, the second that you buy him, there's no such thing they're going to retract. And that's why bedin, they're allowed to come and eat truma. But a woman that there is a din of simpon, because obviously if she gets married and then the husband finds a defect, right, he sends her back, right, back flying. So therefore it's going to be a completely different halacha. Okay? Says the Gemara, michti, let us see, ben lemor. It doesn't matter whether according to Rabbi Yomi, because remember, Rabbi Yomi was the one that said it's asur because of ula. Or whether it's because of Yochanan ben Bagbag, because of simpon, lo achla. She's never going to eat. So my benai, what's the difference between them? Yeah? 1 second. The nafkamina between them is kibel, masar, vehalach. What happens if the husband accepted upon himself, right? If a husband accepted upon himself mumin, which you could find, which means that during the time of the Kiddushin, he comes and he says that even if he finds a moon, yeah, even if he finds a moon, he doesn't care. He accepts it. So therefore, the chashash of simpon does not help. But there's still the chashash that maybe she's going to give her the brothers and sisters sweet. So in such a case, that says that she's going to be asura to eat truma, right? Why? Because of the brothers and sisters. And according to Yochanan ben Bagbag, it's going to be mutar because there's no problem with simpon. Second case, so that was the first case. Kibel is like kibla, like a kabal. Who kibel it zelatzmo, right? Which means he accepted any types of blemishes on himself. Next, masar. What is masar? If the father gives his daughter to the shliach of the Baal to take her to his house, and she still didn't come and get married. So in such a case, she's already on the way to the husband's house. So there's still a problem of simpon, because he didn't check her out yet. So maybe Bemet she still has a blemish, but there's no suspicions anymore of giving the brothers and sisters to eat and drink. So why can't she eat truma? That's the second case of masar. Third case, halach. What is halach? Even imalchu shluchei abal ve'nitlavu l'shluchei abal. So you've got shluchei av and shluchei abal, the messengers of the father and messengers of the husband, and they're going, and she didn't go to the chuppah. In these two cases also, we're not going to suspect that maybe she's going to give the brothers and the sisters whatever it is, but she already went out of the father's house, right? There's nothing there, but there's still the suspicion of simpon. So basically, one of them was because of that we took away the simpon because it was kibel elatzmo, any type of move. The other two were that there is a problem with simpon, but there's not a problem of giving it to the brothers and sisters. And those are the three nafkaminas why we said that even if, between the different answers of, is it because of Simpon that you cannot come and eat Truma when she's in Ursa, or is it because she cannot, because of Ula, you cannot give it to the brothers and the sisters? Okay? 2 dots. Says the Gemara, Bekesef, Bet Shammai Omim Bedinar. If you remember, we said in the Mishnah, how do you get married? Bekesef, Bedinar, right? Uvshaveh dinar. Okay? Says the Gemara, Bet Shammai. What's reasoning Bet Shammai that it's this amount of money? It's a big amount of money. Why? He says, Amar Rabbi Zera, says Rabbi Zera, שכן אישה מקפדת על עצמה, ואין מתקדשת בפחות מדינה. He says, you know why? A woman has her kavod, and she's not going to get married for nothing less than I mean, she thinks, she's going to get married. It has to be with dinar, v'shaveh dinar. It has to be a matbea chashuv, not a stam, whatever it is. So Elmaleh comes and he says, so if it's going to be like what you just said, right? Kegon benated Rabbi Yanai. What about the daughters of Rabbi Yanai? The kaptan and nafshayhu, which they're very, very makpidot on their kavod. So according to them, they're not going to want to get married unless it's going to be less than an entire tarkav of dinarim, which is mamash, 3, that's what he's saying over here, 3, not less than 3 kavim of dinanei zav. So comes out that she comes and she takes out her hand, and she only got 1 dinar, right, from somebody else. Meaning, if the entire thing is a svara, what's a svara? A woman's makpida. She's not just going to get married for $1, right? You come, you give her $1 bill, you tell her she's going to throw it in your face. Yeah, give me $1. That's what I'm worth. Yeah. So he comes and he says, one second, but if it's svara, if you have the daughters of Rabbi Yanai, and they're very, yichus, daughters of Rabbi Yanai, you have to give them 3 kalim of gold, not just stam. So now what? She's not going to be married. So says the Gemara, Elmaleh, says the Bizera, Pashta yada ve'kibla lo kamina. If she took out her hand and she accepted it, I'm not talking about that. But she can accept whatever she wants. She accepted it. She accepted it. Ki kamina. When am I saying this? Tikicha belelia. You got married to her at nighttime. So since it was done at nighttime, she didn't know how much it was worth. I mean, she didn't know the value. He comes, he puts something in her hand. She thought it was I don't know what, and all of a sudden, completely different. Inami or tishav shliach. She made a shliach. So in such a case, that's the question. Meaning, if she herself accepts it, and it's going to be lower the value, whatever, that for sure. Here we're talking about, she didn't know. Either because she sent a shliach, or because it was a nighttime, and therefore she didn't know. Fine. That's one reasoning in Bet Shammai. Meaning, if somebody asks you, why does Bet Shammai say, be dinar shaveh dinar? Kapdanut. Meaning, a woman is makpida, that she's not going to give herself over for less than that amount. Rabbi Yosef comes and he says, Tamayu de Bet Shammai, the reasoning of Bet Shammai is like Rav Yehuda Marvasi. It's like Rav Yehuda Marvasi. The Amar of Yehuda Marvasi says of Yehuda Marvasi, Kol kesef ha'amur b'Torah, any kesef which is written in the Torah, kesef tzuri, is considered kesef tzuri, that comes out in sul, right? Right, kesef tzuri. So he comes and he says over here, yeah, he comes and he says over here, right? The veshel divrehem is kesef medina. What is the difference? We're going to see now. Right, basically like this. The ones that came out, Kesef Medina is the one that comes out in the Medina, which means in Yerushalayim, which is basically going to be 1/8 of the Kesef Tzuri. So, for example, if you just want to put it to nowadays terms, right, because you can't compare $1 to a pound or $1 to a euro, but you can compare to $1 to $1. So you have American dollars, and you have Australian dollars, and you have Canadian dollars, right? So therefore, when you come and you're going to come and put the dollars, so therefore I call it $1, and you call it $1. And he calls $1, right? But what's the value? So therefore, the Kesef Medina is 1/8 the value as the Kesef Tzuri. The Kesef Tzuri was the Kesef, which was the concept which was brought down in the Torah. Meaning, whenever the Torah says Kesef, it meant Kesef Tzuri. Whenever it's talking about now Midrabanan, that you're Chayav Kesef Medina, because it was a lower value. So therefore, just like the Torah came and gave a schum for Kesef, for example, Chamisha Slaim, 5 slaim for the Kohen, for Pidyon Ben. So therefore you have to give it in the matbea, which is of kesef suri. You cannot use kesef medina. Okay? So the same thing. Okay? Because basically that's going to be like a higher value. Okay? Says the Gemara. So therefore, since this is what we're talking about, the reasoning of Bet Shammai is that since the matbiot suriyot are all made out of kesef, and there's no prutot of nechoshet at all, Yeah, there's no prutot of nechoshet at all. So he comes and he says, so we learn from here that it's not dai sheiten right prutim, right, but b'kiddushin. So therefore, it also has to be a dinar. It has to be a dinar. By the way, they started doing that in Canada. There's no more pennies. I mean, there's no more pennies. Meaning you could find them, but they don't use them in the stores. Meaning, if you want to give a penny, it doesn't count. You want to give 5 pennies, so become 5 cents. No, 5 cents is the minimum. They got rid of the penny. You understand? So the same things. That means there's no nechoshet. So there's no nechoshet, right, whatsoever. Huh?
What's the point of doing that?
What's the point of doing that? You get rid of all the little tiny things. You do everything in 5s.
It's worth nothing.
It's worth nothing. I'm going to say, you have to pay me 24.67. What's 67? Either 65 or 70. But whichever one that is. Yeah? So he comes and he says, Gufa, right? Still we said, Amar of Yudam and Ravasi. He says of Yudam and Ravasi. Kol kesef v'mutara kesef tzuri. We already just said, any type of kesef, which is in the Torah, is kesef tzuri, and if it's divrehem, it's going to be kesef medina. Says the Gemara, uklalahu. Is that a klal? Is that a klal gamur that whenever it says in the Torah kesef, it means kesef tzuri? Right? Yudalef amud bet, 11b. Vare ta'ana. What about ta'ana? Right? Imagine right now, I'm going to come and I'm going to claim against you. I come and I tell you here, right? I left by you money. Utnan, and then all of a sudden I come back to you and you tell me, what are you talking about? Yeah? So he comes and he says, for example, I said I gave you 100, you come and say, no, it was only 50. So the nitba is chayav shavua. Right? Why? Because you were modeh b'mitzat. Modeh b'mitzat chayav shavua. So therefore, Utnan, we learned in the Mishnah, shavuat adayanim, right, to do with the shavua of the dayanim, which they're mechayvim people to make, ta'ana of shte kesef, right, ve'oda'a shave pluta, which means, if it's going to be a ta'ana, it has to be minimum of 2 mount kesef. And if it's going to be a hoda'ah, that you agreed to something, even if it's going to be shave pluta. So you see from here, the chachamim came and they said the kesef over here was 2 ma'ot, and not ma'achat. So therefore, when it says in the Torah kesef, right, it's mashma, any amount. It doesn't mean kesef like a certain. So therefore, since the Torah didn't mention it, so then the chachamim come and they say that it's only going to be on a certain amount. So answers the Gemara, hatam dunya de kelim. No, there we said kiteni shaveu kesef or kelim. So therefore, the kesef is dunya de kelim. Ma kelim shnaim, just like it said kelim, it's plural, so it has to mean 2. So to the kesef that was over there, it had to mean 2. That's the only reason why it had to mean 2. Because if not, I would say it's 1. And the kesef is kesef tzuri. But when I said shtemaot, it was only, why does it say 2? Because I said the kelim was 2. So it says the Gemara, ma kesef, and just like kesef, it has to be devar chashuv, of kelim devar chashuv, so to be kelim and also be devar chashuv, which means it has to be shaveh shtemaot. But if it's going to be less than that, shum devar. Fine, says the Gemara. Another question. Vare ma'aseh sheni. Vare ma'aseh, your ma'aseh. What does that mean? When you do pidyon on ma'aseh sheni, remember, what is ma'aseh sheni? The second 10% on years. John Paul. 1, 2, 4, 5. You're close though. Not bad. Yeah? No, 3 and 6 is a maserani. 1, 2, 4, 5. Right? So on the years 1, 2, 4, 5, right? You have maaser sheni. What is maaser sheni? Maaser sheni is the second 10%. You come and you have to eat it in Yerushalayim. Now, if you don't take these fruits and eat it in Yerushalayim, what do? You redeem it. You do pidyon, but you have to add 1/5.
Huh?
You have to add 1/5. So you redeem it. I've got all my fruits here, the maaser sheni. I redeem it. I add 1/5 of the value to it, and then I'm going to go to Yerushalayim. Right? Right? Yes. Not a knas. That's just the halacha. Right? And then you go up to Yerushalayim. You go up to Yerushalayim, and there in Yerushalayim, right, you come and you eat it. So says the Gemara, Varema said, Dichtiv that it's written, Tzarta kesef biyadecha. Right? You're going to come, you're going to be Tzarta kesef biyadecha. What does that mean? Utnam we learned, Haporet sela mimaot maaser sheni. If you're going to come and you're going to be poret a sela of kesef from maot, from maaser sheni, from a prutot of nechoshet and all these things, which means that you came and you were mechalel maaser on these prutot of nechoshet, and then you wanted to switch it from nechoshet, from copper, to the slime of kesef. So it comes out that even though it's written by pidyon maaser kesef, you could still be mechalel the prutot of nechoshet to the kesef. Now, if you're going to tell me that kesef is only kesef tzuri, how do you do it on something which it would be on a ma'a minimum? I mean, because that's the smallest denomination in the Kesef Tzuri. Meaning, Nechoshet doesn't exist in Kesef Tzuri. So how could it be that you're using Nechoshet and then you're changing it to the Sela, right, to the basic? It doesn't work. Nechoshet doesn't work. It's not in the denominations, right? Meaning I cannot use a penny if a penny doesn't exist. You understand? So, by the way, you should know, you have it. For example, in Israel, what's the smallest denomination? Eser Agurot. Eser Agurot. There's no such thing as one Agura. It's Eser Agurot, right? Doesn't exist less than 10 Agurot. From the 10, it went to 50, and then, but doesn't exist. Okay? So he comes and he says, answers the Gemara, Kesef, Riba. He says, what? It says, Kesef, Ha-Kesef. Since it said Ha-Kesef, the extra hey, it says V'tzata Ha-Kesef, so it's coming to be Marbeh, that you could even be Marbeh, that you could be Mechalel on Prutot, right? But if it's only written Kesef, it's Kesef Tzuri. Meaning the fact that it says Ha-Kesef, even Prutot. If it was not written Ha-Kesef, V'tzata Kesef, it's Kesef Tzuri. Okay? So says the Gemara, Vare Hekdesh. What about Hekdesh? Tichti V'natan Ha-Kesef V'kamlo. I don't know what the question is. He already just said Ha-Kesef. Shmuel says, Hekdesh Shaveh Maneh Shechilelo Al Shaveh Pruta Mechulal. It's going to be good. Yeah. So answers the Gemara. Hatanami, there also, Kesef Yalif Mima'aser. Huh? Why didn't it answer the way that I just told you? Kesef Yalif Mima'aser. You're learning Gzira Shava from Kesef. Baruch Shekivanti. Look on the bottom of the footnote, number 11. So he comes and he says they only had the Gzera Shava to do with this and not to do with anything else. Which is extra, that it's not going to be extra. From the extra hay, that it was extra. Okay? So he comes and he says like this. So he comes and he says, there also by Pidyon Hekdesh, the Milah Kesef is different than all the rest of the Torah because we're doing Kesef, you're learning it, right, from Ma'aser. Okay? That just like by Ma'aser Shani, the Torah added in that you could use a Pruta, so too by Chilul Hekdesh, also you could use, right, any type of a Pruta, and it does not mean Kesef Tzuri. So ask the Gemara, Vare Kiddushay Isha. What about Kiddushin of a woman? Tichtiv it's written, Ki kach ish isha uvalah. Vegamar kicha mistefron. We learn kicha mistefron. Kikach ish isha v'natati kesef tzedek kach mimeni. So kicha mistefron. Itzranu, we learned on the Mishnah. Bet Hillel omnim blutav shoveh puta. Neima, Rav Asi damar ke Bet Shammai. So why don't we just say that Rav Asi comes and he says like Bet Shammai? That means what? Allah chazak Bet Shammai, not like Bet Hillel. What does that mean? So says the Gemara, you're right. Elaitman, if you're going to tell me this member of Rav Asi, this is what he's saying. Amar Rav Yehuda Rav Asi says Rav Asi kol kesef katuv b'amur b'Torah. Anytime that it says kesef, right, and the Torah was kovea the shiur, for example, whether it's me'anes, mefateh, right, or whether it's 50 shekel, or for example, a shor kills an eved, you have to pay 30 shekel, or all those cases, motzi shemra, 100 shekel, all their kavanatam is kesef tzuri. Divrehem is kesef midina. Meaning, if it was written in the Torah, what amount of money, so that amount of kesef means kesef tzuri. If you said 30, 50, 100, whatever the case was. But if it did not say it, or it's going to be Drabanan, right? So then it's going to be kesef medina. So says the Gemara, my kamash going to do. So we already learned it once. We learned it to do with Pidyon Ben. Pidyon Ben, we said, 5 slaim that a person has to give for his Ben Bechor. 30 shel Eved, or the 30 shekalim of the Eved, right, that was killed by a shor, or the 50 kesef of an honest or mefateh, right, that he has to pay, or the 100 kesef of the motzi shemra, that he was motzi shemra on his wife, that she was not a virgin. Kulam b'shekel hakodesh b'manet tzuri. So we already learned it. Meaning, what are you coming and giving me a chidush? If it has an amount and it's written kesef in the Torah, it means kesef tzuri. We already learned that. I don't need that here. We already learned that. Right? Answers the Gemara. No, you're right. On that part, we already learned. The part with the Rabbanan, we didn't learn. That is Kesef Medina, that was a Chidush. The Lotran that we didn't learn over there. The time was going to the bright. Imagine right now I come to your ear and I blow the shofar in your ear. And you jump. Yeah? So what happens? He comes here and he says, right? Noten lo sela. I have to pay you a sela for bullshit, for embarrassment. I embarrass you. Right? I came right in front and I embarrassed you. I came and I blew in your ear. So you have to pay one sela. Velo teimena, don't tell me what is a sela, arba zuze. Elamai sela, what is a sela? Palga de zuza. Yeah, so that means the sela medina is an eighth of a sela tzuri, and therefore it's only going to be half of a zuz tzuri. Palga de zuza. Because that's what they call a palga de zuza, an istera, a sela. So it comes out that since over there, that was a din de Rabbanan, right? There was a din de Rabbanan. So therefore, that's what we already learned. That was a din, it's kesef medina. That's a chidush. Meaning that the kesef in the Torah is 100% kesef tzuri and not kesef medina. That I already learned it. I don't need you to tell me that. But kesef de Rabbanan, it's going to be kesef medina. That was the chidush. Shimon Lakish comes and he says, this is now going to be a third reason of Bet Shammai. Right? One more time. How many reasons do you have of Bet Shammai? First reason of Bet Shammai. Why is it that they hold that it has to be a dinar b'shaveh dinar? Aywa. Svara. What's a svara? What was the logic? Svara. A woman is not going to come and not free herself, it's a better terminology. She wouldn't get married to degrade herself, maybe that's the word, right? For less than right? Or what does that mean? A woman will never do that. So therefore it was a svara. Svara the what? It has to be up there. Right? That a person will come, right, and she'll do that. That's going to be the first one. Okay? That was the first of the reasons. Right? The second reason was, as we already mentioned, that any kesef in the Torah is kesef tzuri and not kesef medina. And therefore, when it says kesef tzuri, so for Mishnah, we're talking about a kesef tzuri. Why? Because if you're going to tell me a pruta, there's no prutot. There's no prutot in the kesef tzuri. The kesef tzuri is a high value. That was the second answer. Third answer, we're saying right now, Rabbi Shimon Lakish says, Ta'amayu de Bet Shammai, the reasoning of Bet Shammai is Kiddush Chizkiah. The Amar Chizkiah, it says Chizkiah, Amar Kra, it says in the Pasuk by Rama Ivriya, Vehefdah. What does it mean, Vehefdah? Lo niftata. Basically, we're talking about the Rama Ivriya, that the master did not want to give it to the son, or to designate for himself. So therefore it says, the Adon is commanded to come into to remit her, to how do you call this? To redeem herself, right? With b'mamon and to go out. Melamed shemigraat mipidyona biyotza. That even the Adon should be misayeh pipidyona. How does he do that exactly? You're going to be mafchit. How much did she work for you? And then she goes out free. Meaning you come, okay, how many years did she work? 3 years. Deduct 5,000 from the amount. How many years? 10 years. Whatever it is. Deduct 10,000, whatever it was. You're going to deduct it. So, and then she goes up free. So says the Gemara, you're going to tell me now, the Yahav Ladinar, that the words of Chizkiah is going to be that if you're going to tell me in the beginning that she acquired herself for a dinar, and therefore the Migravas, that you're just deducting ad pruta until a pruta, so then it makes sense. Right? Why? You continue going downwards. Meaning, how much was the sale? $10,000. Okay, every year you're going to work another 1,000 off, or 2,000, whatever the case is. But you're going down. It makes sense. But if you're going to tell me now, Diabla Pruta, that they only give a Pruta, you can't go down from a Pruta. Pruta is already the lowest value. How do you go down? Dilma says the Gemara, this is what means in the Torah. If you gave her a dinar, then you go down to Pruta. But if you didn't give, right? If you only give her to Pruta, you don't go down at all. So answers the Gemara, you bet Amudala from the top. Lo sal kadaita. We're not going to say such a thing. Why? Dumya di yud. It's like yud. Yud is a designation to the son or to the owner as a marriage. Ma yud afagav du ibayim yaed v'ibay lo miyad. Just like the yud, he could be miyad or her, or not be a miyad her. Any place where you cannot have the yiyud, right? Even if it's done. For example, the father wanted to sell her to a family member. So I mean, she's going to become an ma'ivriya, but the ma'ivriya is going to be to a family member. Once it's a family member, she can get married to them. So lo avuzvina zvina, it's not going to be a good sale. Hachenami, I would have said the same thing. If you cannot deduct it, lo avuzvina zvina, it's not going to be a good sale. And therefore, that's what we're saying, right? That Rabbi Shimon Lakish, that a ma'ivriya is not going to be acquired for less than a dinar.